Hey guys, Mike Binder here with MGB Music Lessons. So I'm going to show you 5 chord concepts not typically shown in music books. And the reason why is, a lot of times guitar players will find these chords by accident. Like, for example, like a C chord taken up 2 frets. You get this really cool overtone happening because it would normally be here, and then you bring it up, and then you have these open notes that create overtone and dissonance in kind of a musical way. And so that's what I'm going to show you today, all the cool voicings and tricks and things I've learned over the years and things I've seen other people do. So the first one I'm going to start with is what I'm calling the 5-position E chord shape. And that's exactly what it is. You take a E chord and you can move it around. The key, though, is to play the E chord using your index finger, not using your index finger. So you're going to want to play the E chord with your middle finger on the G string 1st fret, your ring finger on the A string 2nd fret, and then your pinky on the D string 2nd fret. The reason why is when you bring it up to the 5th position, you're going to add your index finger to the low E. Now we're not barring, although a bar would work, but that's kind of the beauty of this, is that you're letting it have that dissonance, because this chord actually becomes an A2. So the E shape up to the 5th position becomes an A2. You keep going with it to the 7th fret, and you get this B sus4. You can go all the way to the 12th fret. You can even hit the 10th fret. So really cool, just taking that E chord and moving it around. So this next chord concept I want to show you, I'm calling the C-shaped 2-fret slide. And we're going to play this familiar C shape that we all know, but we're going to bring it up 2 frets. And it gets us this crazy name, D sus4 add 9, right? And it's a little bit more dreamy than a normal D. That's kind of a happy sounding D. This is kind of a really moody sounding D. So, this is a cool D to use on some songs. So, pick a song that has a D in it and use this D instead and see if you like it. You can also play a C major 7 and slide that forward, and you get a D6 9 sus4. Now, these chord shapes don't really live up to the name. The name's like super complicated, but the chords are actually just familiar chords. Some of these chords are really easy, but you take them out of context, you put them somewhere else, and you're going to get that dissonance, and you're going to get a really long name. So then you can see how people would find these chords by accident and then use them. It's the mistakes that a lot of people want to capture. A true artist will do that. Will embrace the mistakes and then make that the focal point. So the next chord concept I want to show you is called the open B power chord substitution. And we're going to play this B power chord. And typically with a power chord, you don't strum the bottom strings, but in this case scenario, you can. And if you don't know how to play a power chord, it's index finger on the A string 2nd fret, ring finger on the D string 4th fret, and pinky on the D string 4th fret. Okay? And we're going to substitute out different bass notes. So you have the B right here. This is actually called a B sus4. And then the F sharp 7 sus4. 2nd fret with our index finger on the low E. Then we got a G sharp minor 7 flat 13. And that's going to be our middle finger on the 4th fret of the low E. And then the last chord is an E2 by just letting that E string ring out while we go back to the B chord that we were playing. Okay, so the first chord is without the low E string. It's just, and then the last chord's with the low E string. It's easy to get confused on that. So B sus4, F sharp 7 sus4, G sharp minor 7 flat 13, and then an E2. This next chord concept I want to show you, I'm calling the 5-position A chord shape, the A2 chord shape rather. And we're going to play an A2. If you know an A, which is just your index, middle, and ring on the D, G, and B string, 2nd fret, an A2 is removing your ring finger. That's an A2. But we're going to finger it with our ring finger and our pinky on the D and G string. So it's kind of weird, but if you slide up 2 frets, it makes sense, because we're going to go back to that power chord we did on the last chord concept. And that's that B sus4 chord. So A2, B sus4, C sharp minor flat 7, E, back to A2 all the way up here at the 12th fret. So you get those 5 chord positions. Open A2, 2nd fret with your index finger gives you that B sus4. 4th fret gives you the C sharp minor flat 7. 7th fret gives you an E, and you can include the low E here. That's a really full sound. And then you can drop this pinky 1 step with your middle finger on the G string, 8th fret. That's what I was doing in the little audio clip before. I was going. Okay, it gives you an E major 7 back to an E. And then all the way up to the 12th fret just repeats that A2 chord. The next chord concept I'm calling the double stop overtone. And the reason why is you take 2 notes. So it's not a complete chord, but then you're going to let some overlap happen, some overtone happen. So the way you're going to want to do is you're going to come up to the 10th fret with your middle finger and then pinky on the 11th fret of the G. And I'm on the low E with my middle. And then just let it all ring out except for that A string. Okay, then you go down to the 5th fret, still blocking the A. Then you come up to the 8th fret, and then the 3rd fret. And then you can do this little hammer from 2nd fret with your index finger to 4th fret with your pinky. Now these chords are D6 add 9, A sus4 add 9, C major 7 sus4, and then a G6. I love that we're ending on a G6. I don't know why, I just like that. Well, thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you learned a little something. These are just some cool little guitar tricks I've learned over the years. And throw them in your songs. If you're a songwriter, throw them in your song. If you're just a guitarist, start using those and replace some of the generic chords that we've learned over the years and start throwing these chords in. These are fun chords. So thanks again for watching. We'll see you guys on the next one.